Subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated with the latest videos from School of Technology, Management and Engineering and MIMS Indore.
We will now begin with our session of Fundamental of Cybersecurity by our session experts for today, Ms. Sejal Gupta and Mr. Nakshatra Kaushik, students of STME and MIMS Indore. The prerequisites are shared in the chat box, which you have to open in your browser during the session. Hope you all enjoy the session. Over to you, Sejal and Nakshatra.
Thank you, Varnika, for the introduction. Good evening, everyone.
I, Sejal Gupta.
And I, Nakshatra Kaushik, student of MBA Tech from School of Technology, Management and Engineering, NMIMS Indore. Welcome you all to the session on fundamentals of cybersecurity. We are very delighted to see you all here. How about we start by asking you a simple question, and that is, are you familiar with cybersecurity? To answer this question, open slido.com, enter the code shown on the screen, or you can simply scan the QR code and submit your response. You have 30 seconds for the same. All right, you can see that 56% of the audience is not familiar with cybersecurity, whereas 45% people say that they are not familiar with cybersecurity. And, oh, sorry, I said 40% people are already familiar with cybersecurity, whereas 60% people are not familiar with cybersecurity. So one thing which I would like to say is the people who are already familiar, we are sure that you will learn more. And the ones who are not familiar can confidently say that after this 1 hour, that yes, cybersecurity is a very interesting domain to settle in.
Okay, so the first thing that you have to understand is why cybersecurity. Before understanding what is cybersecurity and how cybersecurity works. So, we need cybersecurity because of the cyber attacks and data breaches that are happening today. Data breach is an outcome of cyber attack. Now, what happens with a data breach or cyber attack? What is the issue? So, the first thing is data is stolen and then sold. Then data is accessed and it is modified or altered. Like you all have your bank account. Everything is digitalized, even the banking system. So if any attacker accesses the account and alters the amount to more or less, it will have a huge impact. Or else, let's consider we are student and we get access to our college system or college server. And you try to modify your marks or your attendance benefit, right? So the data is accessed and it is modified or altered. The third thing is data is made unavailable. So majorly, these are the three things which happens because of the cyber attack. Data is made unavailable. Unavailable means like, let's assume Flipkart. Flipkart website is down completely. Some hackers try to get into the site and hack it. Even if Flipkart goes down for 5 minutes, they will have a loss in lakhs or crores or even billions, especially during the time of those big billion sales. Now, who gets impacted with these cyber attacks? It's basically the users like us. We are the end users. We use Flipkart, we use banking system. Apart from us, there are organizations, companies that gets affected. There are financial institutes, that is banks, institutions like colleges, schools, and even government. However, at the end, if we see, it's you and me who gets impacted.
Now, you all must be wondering that what is the reason why these cyber attacks are happening? The reason is data. In today's digital world, the data is known as the new oil, which means the data has a value. And since data has a value, cyber attacks are happening. And the data is being modified and altered. Just like we have petrol or oil, same way we have data today, which has a huge value. And you just need a PC or a laptop and an internet connection to make money. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to sit at your home and make money. Coming back to cyber attack, every day there happens to be some or other cyber attacks. So if we look at the real-time scenario, we have a website given by Kaspersky. You must have received the link in the chat box. Would request you all to open it. Now, once you have entered this website into your browser, you'll be seeing a screen similar to what you can see now. So this website is used for, it is showcasing the live threats which are happening in the different parts of the world. We can see that India is the 8th most attacked country. So India stands 8th as in the most attacked country. Now, if I check about China and I can click on China, so it says that it is the 3rd most attacked country. Further, we have another tool for you all that is given by FireEye. You must have received the link in the chat box. Would request you all to open that as well. Now, once you open, what is the differentiating factor over here? We can see that currently Thailand is attacking United States, or if I talk about Algeria is attacking Brazil, and Thailand is attacking Mexico. So you can see it is showing you the real-time status of all those attacks which are happening worldwide. Further, it is also showing you that the attacks which happened today, the number you can see on the right corner, that is 5,03,309, and it is increasing at a vast rate. So these online tools are for your reference. If you want to know all the real-time attacks which are happening, you can visit these two websites. Further, we have two more links for you, which are provided by FortiGuard and ThreatMap. So these are for similar purposes. And you want to know the real-time status of attacks, you can refer to all these 4 sites whenever you feel like.
Now, looking at some older attacks, we know about Yahoo, right? So Yahoo was like Google some years back, say some 10 years back. We don't know much about Yahoo because it doesn't exist anymore. So what is the reason? The reason is Yahoo had a cyber attack in 2014. Hackers stole around 500 million users' data back in 2014. However, Yahoo announced its first details about the attack in 2016. So people gradually stopped using Yahoo. The impact this attack had is we have Google today. One of the major reasons why Google gained popularity is because people shifted from Yahoo to Google. If you see, Yahoo also had the same features, like it had a search engine, it had email services. The services that Google provided were similar to Yahoo because Yahoo had a huge impact, and therefore the customers lost trust. That's the reason we have Google today. We have Android, we have Google Maps, and many more. And this revolution happened because Yahoo had a cyber attack. And since there was no competition, it became easy for Google to grow with this speed. Now, the next question comes in our mind is, what impact does these cyber attacks leave on us? So the impact is financial loss and reputational loss. Example, we just saw Yahoo. Yahoo lost its reputation and went down financially as well. Similarly, there are many attacks taking place every microsecond. Now, will these attacks affect you? So, for answering this, let's see whether our data is valuable or not. To understand this, let's look at different data that are associated with us. That is name, address, phone number, email IDs, qualification, profession, date of birth, documents, chats, photos, Aadhaar, PAN card details, bank details, and passwords. So all these data are associated with us, and all of this is valuable. If you have this much data about you, you can sell it and make money. All this data gets uploaded on dark web and anyone can buy it and use all this information against us.
Further, we have another data breach by a huge company named as Domino's. Popular pizza brand Domino's have suffered from a data leak yet again in 2021. As per the security experts, the data of 18 crore orders is available on the dark web. Earlier in April, a hacker had claimed that he had gained the access to database of worth 13 terabyte consisting of Domino's user records. The information that he had got access to include phone numbers, email addresses, payment details, and even the credit card details of all the users. Now, if you want to see whether your data is stolen in any of the cyber attack that has happened with any of the company, there's a website we'd like you to check. This is known as haveibeenpawned.com. You must have received the link in the chat box. Would request you all to open it. Now I'll be entering the email address of Sejal, that is sejalgupta2k@gmail.com, and hit enter. Once you do that, you have to scroll down a bit and it will let you know that this particular email address was leaked in the Domino's breach, which happened in April 2021, which I just talked about. And another breach was Dubsmash, that is in the year 2018. Further, I'll be entering my email address as well, that is nakshatrakoshik24@gmail.com. Let's check how many times my email ID has been on. We'll scroll down a bit. Yeah, so we can see that my email address has been breached in 3 data breaches, that is Domino's, Big Basket, and Domino, and Zoomcar. All right. If you scroll down a bit more, if you want to check all those recently added breaches, you can check it out. We have RayChat accounts, Domino's, nameless malware accounts. So these websites update all the recently added breaches. Further, all the largest breaches which has happened till date, you can see all of them listed here. Now I would request from the audience, if anybody could enter their email address into the chat box so that we can have a trial on that as well. So is there anyone who wish to provide his email address? Anybody? All right, we have one. So that is Nipun, Nipun, Kyal @gmail.com. And we'll hit enter. All right, good news for you, Nipun. Your email address hasn't been leaked or pawned in any of the data breaches so far. Now we'll be moving further. There is another tab called as passwords in the top right corner. And what is the use of this is, I'll enter a password called QWERTY and I'll hit enter. What do I get? I get that this password has been seen in 39,93,346 times before. So I would request you all to enter your password and you have to check whether how many times it has been pawned. And mark my words, if you see even once that this password has been pawned, would request you all to change the password immediately. You all can try it out. You have 1 minute for the same. Further, until they are trying, we can try one more email address, which came into the chat box. That is, we have one email address from Proton Mail as well. All right. So we'll be entering the Gmail one, that is KALAIVAND02@gmail.com. Here's a good news for you as well. Your email IDs hasn't been found in any of the data breach. So that's great. Now we'll be moving further. Here's another poll for you. That is, How many times have you been pawned? To answer this question, open slido.com, enter the code shown on the screen, or you can simply scan the QR code and submit your response. Hurry up, guys. We would like you all to open slido.com and please fill in the poll so that we get better results.
Okay, we'll wait for 15 seconds more. Then we'll move on. Okay, since we can see most of you are being pawned in some or the other data breach, let me briefly explain what happens here. So we connect to the internet and register on various sites like Facebook, Instagram, and e-commerce. And when we register, we provide our information. So all these data get stored in database, and this database is connected to the internet. And anyone, an hacker or an attacker who is connected to the internet can have access to this database and they can steal your data. In the two data breaches where my email ID is being pawned, I registered with Domino's, and Domino's had an attack recently in April 2021, as we discussed. So my information has been stolen here. With this detail, they can try to hack into my social media or my banking system. One of the reasons is most of the people use common passwords everywhere. So if you're using a common password for all your social media and mailing accounts, stop doing that. Let your passwords be unique. As you can see, all this information is compromised here. And if your data is gone, trust me when I say this, you can't do anything. So for safety reasons, it is always recommended to keep unique passwords. Now coming back to why cyber attacks and data breaches. So as we know, the world is turning from offline to online at a very high speed. That is, everything is digital now. So digitalization means use of technology. Now this technology has a glitch, a loophole. And this loophole in cybersecurity is known as vulnerability. There's nothing like 100% security. Let me just give you an example to understand this better. So, as in a medical field, the doctors exist because there are diseases. Cybersecurity exists because there are vulnerabilities. Just like how doctors find a disease and cure it, similarly, security professionals find a vulnerability and rectify it.
Now let's briefly understand that what is the difference between ethical hacking and unethical hacking, or in simple terms, hacking. So in ethical hacking, everything is done legally with the permission or the consent of the respective organization. Whereas if I talk about hacking, it is done illegally. That is, you don't need a consent from the respective organization. You directly hack into their systems. Further, in ethical hacking, it is done in an attempt to prevent malicious attacks from being successful, whereas an hacker hacks it in an attempt to make all those malicious attacks possible. Lastly, all the ethical hackers disclose all the vulnerabilities that they have found to the respected organization, whereas an hacker exploit all those vulnerabilities that he has find in a particular website. Now, moving forward, we'll be discussing a tool called Virus Total. You must have received the link in the chat box. Would request you all to open it. We hope that you must have opened the link. Now, what this tool is used for? It checks whether a file is malicious or is it safe. It lets you know whether a particular file contains any virus or anything malicious with it. It will let you know. So I'll be uploading a file which is saved on my desktop. named as mimikatz. So this is the file mimikatz.exe, which I'll be uploading in it. And I'll click on upload. So we can see that 50 vendors out of 70 vendors have claimed that this particular file is malicious. Further, if I scroll down a bit, there are many antivirus companies which have claimed. If I talk about CAT, Quick Heal, all right, you must have heard about Quick Heal antivirus. So what does it say? It says that the file which I've uploaded, it is a hack tool. If I talk about AVL on the second number, it says that it is a Trojan, that is a virus. Furthermore, if you want to know more, like you want to know the details of this particular file, you click on details. You'll see that there are multiple hashes which are associated with this particular file. Now let's assume that the prerequisite doc which we had sent you as a Kali installation guide, let's assume that even that file was malicious and you didn't know. You directly installed it into your system and you executed it. I don't know whether it is malicious or not. Let's check it out. So I'll click on back. I'll again select file. I'll choose the file which is present on my desktop under the name of Kali installation guide. So I'll click on that and I'll click on upload. So as we can see that no security vendors flag this as malicious. So you all don't need to worry. You are safe. The file which we had sent you doesn't contain anything malicious. Jokes apart, further, in the future, if you get any file or a URL and you suspect that it could be malicious, VirusTotal is the tool for you. You can simply go to virustotal.com. You can upload the file or you can upload the URL and it will let you know whether that file or the URL is malicious and you are good to go. All right. I hope you all have done. So we'll be moving further.
Okay, now let's get started with Kali Linux. Let me quickly explain you what Kali is. It is an open source Debian-based Linux distribution aimed at advanced penetration testing and security auditing. Kali Linux contains several hundred tools targeted towards various information security tasks, such as penetration testing, security research, computer forensics, and reverse engineering. Kali Linux is a multi-platform solution, accessible and freely available to information security professionals, and is specifically tailored to the needs of penetration testing professionals. Look at some of the features of Kali Linux. First is it includes more than 600 penetration testing tools. Coming up, second is open source Git tree. Kali is committed to the open source development model and its development tree is available for all to see. All of the source code which goes into the Kali Linux is available for anyone who wants to tweak or rebuild packages to suit their specific needs. Next feature is FHS complaint. Kali adheres to the file system hierarchy standard, allowing Linux users to easily locate binaries, support files, libraries, etc. Next is custom kernel patch for injection. As penetration testers, the development team often needs to do wireless assessments, so its kernel has the latest injection patches included. The last is it is developed in a secure environment. The Kali Linux team is made up of a small group of individuals who are the only ones trusted to commit packages and interact with the repositories, all of which is done using multiple secure protocols.
Now, before moving to Kali Linux, we have something important for you all. That is a disclaimer. Everything taught in this session is strictly for educational purposes. Do not use the learning for any illegal practices. With this being said, let's get started with Kali Linux and would request you all to open your virtual machine. All right, once you do that, you'll be seeing this login form. So you need to enter your credentials. I'll be entering mine, that is Kali, and I'll enter my password. Once I have done that, I'll click enter. So the first screen which comes up is my home screen. All right. So if I navigate to the top left corner, that is this one, I can see that I have so many pre-installed tools which are already installed in my Kali Linux. All right. Further, it has categorized all those tools into various categories. Like if I had to mention information gathering, I can see all these tools are based on information gathering. Further, if I talk about wireless attacks, so all these tools are used for wireless attacks. Lastly, that is password attacks. In these, we have many tools in which you can see that is John. This is the tool which we are going to cover in our session. All right. Now, you can see the fourth icon. If I click on that, I can see that it is known as Terminal Emulator. So would request you all to click on this. So you will be getting this screen. So this is a terminal in Kali. What is a terminal? I'll explain in simple words. Like a terminal is like a playground for you all, where you'll be able to execute all your commands. So to start out, we'll be starting up with some few basic commands, that is echo. Now, much like the word it's named after, echo returns whatever we give it as an input. Let's say I type echo hello, all right? And I hit enter. So I can see that hello is returned back to me. It's similar to Python, like we have a command called print in Python, so it works the same. Now, if I want to print, say for example, I want to print Sunday text series, all right? Sunday text series. So I'll write echo and then Sunday text series. So whatever you want to print on your terminal, you can simply write that after the echo command and hit enter. You all can try it out. We are waiting for you all. You have 30 seconds for the same, and then I'll move on to the next command. We hope you must have tried out the command. So moving further with the second command, that is the man command. It stands for a manual. I'll give you an example over here. Whenever we buy a new device, we get a manual along with it. Okay. So when do we use a manual? Like if we have no idea how to use this particular device, then we refer to the manual, like how this device works, what to do with it. You refer to the manual. Similarly, in Linux, if you don't know a particular command and you want to know more about that particular command, you have this command that is man. So let's assume I want to know more about this echo command. All right. I don't know anything at the moment. I want to know what is it. So I'll type man echo and hit enter. I can see that it's saying that echo is a command which is used to display a line of text. Further, if I go down, I can see that there is something written as description. So all the terms which are starting with hyphen and then like hyphen N or hyphen E. So all these things in Linux are known as flags. If you get to know about this term later, so I'm telling you right now that whatever terms we see after a hyphen, all those are known as flags. Now, if you want to exit from this menu, you'll have to type Q. So you'll be back to the terminal. You all can try it out. This command is very useful when you don't know about a particular command and you want to know more. you can use this command. So you can try it out. All right, we will be moving further with the third command, that is ls. ls is a command that lists information about every file or a directory. By directory, I'm referring to a particular folder. Just like we have a folder in Windows, and inside that folder, we can store multiple files. Similarly, in Linux, we have a directory. All right. Now, if I type ls and hit enter, you can see that I hope you can see my mouse. Okay. So it is written that Kali @Kali, and then I can see a tilde sign. What does it refer? It refers to a home directory. So inside my home folder, all these files are present. Further, if I had to mention a flag, that is ls space -a. So this particular flag is used for displaying all the hidden files which are present into your operating system. So if I hit enter, I can see that I'm able to see a couple of more files which weren't visible before because they all were hidden. Now, if you want to hide a particular file into Linux, what you need to do is you have to save the file. Like say, for example, the name of the file is abc.txt. All right. So in order to hide it, you have to save it with the name .abc.txt. So the start of the file should start with dot. Then this way you can hide the file. And similarly, if you want to visit it, you can type ls space -a for the same. So that was all about the ls command. Those who are practicing along with me, they can do that. And if by chance you're not able to practice it along with me, don't worry, you'll be getting the recording of the complete session on YouTube. Let's move on to the next command, that is cd. It stands for change directory. If you want to change your, I am into my home folder. If I want to switch to another folder, you can use this command, that is cd. The syntax is very easy, cd, and then the location where you want to redirect to. Let's say I want to go to my desktop. So I'll type cd and desktop and hit enter. I can see that I am redirected into my desktop folder. So now if I do ls, I can see that all these files are present on my desktop folder.
Moving on. Next command is touch. Touch is a pretty simple command. It creates files. Given the command touch and a file which is named as abc.txt, now hitting enter, we'll be able to create this file. Now, by giving command ls, we can see that a file abc.txt has been created here. Next up is cat command. Cat is short form for concatenate. It does exactly as the name says. It outputs the content of the files to the console. We'll see this example of cat with our next command, which is greater than operator. Greater than is the operator for output redirection, which means you can redirect the output of any command to a file. For example, if I were to run echo hello to a file called abc.txt, then instead of outputting hello to the console, it would save that output to a file called abc. And after typing cat abc.txt, we can see that hello has been printed in the directory abc. Now here, it is worth noting that if you were to use this operator on a file that already exists, it would completely erase the contents of that file and replace it with the output from your command. Given command example, if I were write by here and use the command cat abc.txt, we can see that a hello has been replaced with by.
Now you all can see that there is a disadvantage over here. If I want a couple of strings to be stored in my txt file, then I cannot use this single greater than sign. For this, we have a substitute that is double greater than. So if we can see that abc.txt has a string called by in it. So what I'll do, I'll type echo and I'll input hello in it, and I'll use double greater than, and I'll mention the file name, and I'll hit enter. Now, if I want to see the content of the file, I'll write cat abc.txt and hit enter. You all must be noticing the difference that this time it hasn't overwritten the output, it has appended, all right? It has added the hello string with by into that same file. So if you want to store a couple of strings into a txt file, you can use this double greater than operator rather than using a single greater than operator. Now we have a poll for you all.
For this, everyone is requested to open slido.com, enter the code or scan the QR code to answer this question. Everyone is requested to do that fast, and we switch on to our question. So the question is, how would you print cybersecurity to a file called Kali? You have 40 seconds to answer the same. Fifteen seconds left. Okay, so we have our result here. So as we can see, 66% of you have chosen the third option. Let's see what is the correct one. Yeah, it's great to see that everyone is able to understand what they're teaching here. Moving on.
Now we are back to the terminal, and the next command which we are going to learn is a double AND operator. As you might expect, it stands for AND, meaning it allows you to execute two commands at the same point of time. Let's say I want to run the first command, that is ls, and so double AND symbol you have to use for this, and I have to print cat abc.txt. So I'm executing both of these commands simultaneously. Now, if I hit enter, you all can see that first it has executed the ls command, and then it has printed the content of abc.txt, that is cat abc.txt. Further, let's say I randomly type this and I use the AND operator, and then I want to print cat abc.txt. It will throw me an error. I'll hit enter. You can see that it says command not found, because what it does is the first command which you want to execute, it should be valid. It should be a valid command, because this HCHDHD is not a valid command. If I want to use these double AND operators, you have to make sure that whatever command you are using on the first position, it should be valid.
You have 30 seconds to try this command, then we'll move on to our next command. Okay, so the next command is Mkdir. Now what happens is sometimes you want to make a new folder to store your files, and that is done using Mkdir, which means make new directory. The syntax for this is mkdir and the name of the folder. And here we are creating a new directory called offensive. By hitting enter, our folder has been created, and by typing ls, we can see that a folder has been created and is visible here. Now let's take a break from all the permissions and math and look at something that can completely destroy your Linux system if used carelessly. RM, as you might have guessed, means remove, and that's exactly what it does. First, let's do ls and see what all files do we have in our desktop. So we can see here's a file called abc.txt. So let's remove this file from here. We'll type rm and the name of the file, that is abc.txt. Hit enter, and by doing ls, we'll see that this particular text file has been removed from our operating system. Now, what if we want to delete a folder that have a command similar to rm, and that is rmdir? So we'll type rmdir and the name of the folder. As you can imagine, and by hitting enter, it has been removed, and by ls we can see that our folder is not there anymore. As you can imagine, this is incredibly dangerous, as you can remove some very important files and render your system completely. It is worth noting that you need to write permissions to the file to delete, so you can just delete any file if you're a regular user. You have 30 seconds. You can try out these 3 commands and we'll move on to.
All right. The next command is the move command. Now, move allows you to move files from one location to the other location. The syntax for this command is very simple. You need to write mv, that is move, and then you need to provide the file name. So I'll be taking, let's say, in my desktop, I have a file called chmod.txt. All right. So I need to move it to another location. Let's say into home and then Kali. Further, if there is another folder called documents. So what this command will do is it will move the file chmod.txt into some other location that is inside my documents folder. I'll hit enter, and if I do ls, you can see that chmod.txt is not present into my desktop folder. It has been removed from this folder. And now if I navigate to my documents folder, I'll do cd and then cd documents, hit enter, do ls. You can see that chmod.txt is now present inside my documents folder. So if you want to move your file from one location to another, you can use this command and definitely do that. You have 30 seconds for the same. Try it out. If you have any question, you can post it into the chat box. Me and Sejal would be answering those questions later on. Next command is copy. That is, how do we write it? CP. Okay. Now, the advantage of using CP command is it also does the same thing. It is used to copy one file from one folder to another. What it does is it doesn't remove the file from its source folder. Just like we saw in move, we moved it from the source folder to destination, and we could see that the file has been removed from the source folder. So I'll copy chmod.txt into, so CP, I have provided the file name and then the location where I want to copy this file. So I'll provide the location, that is home. Inside this home folder, I have Kali and then the desktop. Okay, I'll hit enter. Now, if I do ls, I can see that it is present inside the documents folder as well. Further, if I navigate to desktop and hit enter, and now if I check, I do ls, I can see that this file is back. So now this file is residing inside the desktop folder as well as the documents folder. So this is the use of copy command. You all can try it out. Next command is an important command, that is find, F-I-N-D. Now what it does is it allows you to find a particular file into a particular folder, or it could be inside your operating system. So I'll type find and then a backslash. That is for, it will find a particular file. Let me just write the command, that is name. I'm providing the name of the file, that is hash1.txt. All right. So the command is find, then backslash. Backslash will search the particular file, that is hash1.txt, inside the entire operating system. And if I hit enter, it will throw me an error. You can see there's a lot of text which we can see, and it says that permission denied. So for this, we have a command called sudo. Now, why this thing is happening? Because currently I am logged in into my Kali user, which is a less privileged user as compared to the root user. In order to execute this command, you need to run this command with sudo. So I'll rerun the same command again by using sudo, that is find backslash hyphen name and then the name of the file. And I'll hit enter. It will ask the password for the Kali user. I'll enter my password and hit enter. Now you all can see that it has given me an output that hash1.txt resides into home, Kali, inside that desktop, and then CTF challenge files. And inside this folder, I have this file hash. Further, I have the same file inside my desktop folder as well. Now let's verify whether this file is actually present in this particular folder or not. As you might see, I'm already into my desktop folder. If I do ls, I can see that hash1.txt is already present in this folder. So the use of this command is, if in future you know the name of the file, okay, you know the name of the file, that the name of the file is hash2.txt, but you don't know the location. In order to do that, you can make the use of find command, and it will give you the exact location of that file. You all have 30 seconds. You can try it out. Now, until then, I'll be giving you a shortcut. Like you can see that my screen is, I can see all those commands which I've executed so far. I can see all those commands. So say, for example, I want to erase it. So how do I do that? There's a shortcut called control command. For Windows user, it would be command plus L. And for the Mac users, it would be control plus L. See, all those commands have been erased now. So there's a similar command called as locate, which is similar to find. So I leave that as a task for you all. You can try it out. It is a similar command like find, so you can try it out later. Now I'll be moving on to the next command, that is the grep command. This is a very useful command when it comes to search a particular string inside a particular file. Okay. Now, since I am into my desktop folder, I have a file called rocu.txt. I'll be explaining what rocu.txt means in the later stage. For now, assume that I have a file called rocu.txt. ls, if I do ls, yes, it is present. So I'll do cat rocu.txt, and then I'll use a pipe sign. Now, pipe sign is used for if you want to execute like cat rocu.txt, the output of this command, you want to filter it with another command. All right. Cat rocu.txt would print me all the text which is inside rocu.txt, but I want to find, because rocu.txt consists of 14 million records, and it would take me an hour to print this particular file since it is very long. So I just need to find by using the grep command, and I want to check whether a string that is dangerous is present into this particular file or not. So I'll hit enter. I see that I have all those outputs. I can see that dangerous string is present in all of them. So it is filtering out all those strings because I had mentioned dangerous here. So all those strings which consist this word dangerous, it will print you that since I have used cat before that. Now the use of this command is, as I just explained, it was like, I'll just do one thing. There's a command called word count and then the name of the file, and I hit enter. You can see, as I mentioned, this file contains 14 million records. So it was a very long file. I just wanted to find that whether there's a particular string which is present in this file or not. So you can use this command grep for that. You all can try it out. We are waiting for you all. You have 30 seconds and then we'll move forward.
Okay, so we have another poll. Everyone is requested to open slido.com and you'll be given 40 seconds to answer this question. The question, I'm sorry, you'll be given 60 seconds for this question. So the question is, how would you search for the string John in the file named as crack? Repeat, how would you search for the string John in the file named as crack? We just learned some commands. So I hope you can answer this question. Okay, 20 seconds more. Okay, so most of you have selected the fourth option. Let's see what is the correct one. Great. That means everyone is learning. That's a good thing for us. So let's move on. Okay, so next up is Nano Command. So up until this point, you may have seen we've been using double greater than or single greater than operator to add contents to a file. Luckily, that's not the only way to do things. We have another command for it, and that is nano. Nano is a terminal-based text editor. The syntax for nano is nano and the name of the file. So we'll write nano and abc.txt, and by hitting enter, this took us to nano editor screen. Here you can add whatever you want to save in this file. And after that, you can simply press Control plus X and come out of the editor. So you can see we are out on our console. By doing cat abc.txt, we can see whatever we just entered in abc.txt is printed here. So there's a similar command called vim. It works similarly to Nano, and it has a text editor of its own as well. So you can try it out on your own in your Kali machines. I have entered this code in the chat box as well. This command, you can try it.
Now, before moving on, I would request you all to kindly pay attention now, as the command which I'm going to explain is one of the most important command which you will see in Kali Linux. So I'll erase all the commands. So the name of the command is chmod. So to explain this, I have prepared a text file for you all inside my desktop folder, that is cat chmod.txt. And if I hit enter, I can see something being displayed on my screen. So what does chmod does? It is a command to allocate a specific permission to a file or a folder. By permission, I'm referring to, it could be read, that is, you can read the content, whatever is present inside a file. You can write it, that is, you can edit that particular file. Lastly, execute. If it is executable file, you can execute it as. Now we have 7 digits for you all. If I talk about the first one, it says execute. Second, numeric 2 says write. 3 says write and execute. 4 means you can read the file. 5 means you can read as well as execute the file. Moving on to 6, that is you can read and write. Lastly, that is 7, that is you can read, write and execute. You can do everything with that particular file. In order to explain you more, I have written this U, G and E. Okay, so U means user, G stands for a group, and E stands for everyone else. You must be seeing that near this desktop thing, I can see that Kali @Kali. So it says that currently I'm logged into my Kali user and the group is also Kali. By default, there is this user, that is Kali, and the group. Both are same, that is Kali and Kali. And everyone else, I have written Sejal and Lucifer. So into my operating system, I have 2 more users other than Kali, that is Sejal and Lucifer. So let's say, as I've mentioned, that I am granting a permission of 4 to the user, that is Kali. And we just learned that 4 means you can read the file. By 6 means you can read and write. And everyone else, that is Sejal and Lucifer, I have given 1. That is, they can only execute a particular file, nothing else. Further, if I mention 0, 0 means you can neither read the file nor write, and you cannot even execute. You don't have any permission granted to you for a particular file. Now let's see an example. I'll type chmod and then I need to provide the permission. Now the permission is, I have breakdown into 3, all those 3 digits. So the first digits refer to the user, second refers to the group, and the third one refers to everyone else. So I'm giving a, let's assume I'm giving a permission as, let's say 4 to the user, that is Kali, and 6 to the group, that is again Kali, and 1, that is to everyone else. And I'll have to specify the name of the file, that is abc.txt. And if I hit enter, now what I can see is I have given the permission 4, that is I can read the file. So if I do cat chmod.txt, no, abc.txt, I can read the file. Further, I can read and execute, read and write for the 6th one, and the one is execute only. But that is for the Sejal and Lucifer only. So I need to redirect myself into the other user. So let's say I am into my Kali user only, and I do chmod 000 for abc.txt. And now if I try to read it, it won't give me. I can see that the permission is denied. I'm not able to read the file. Further, let's say I want to write it. I need to edit it. What I'll do, nano abc.txt, hit enter. Now you can see at the last, it says permission denied. I cannot edit this particular file because I have provided it the permission of 0. Similarly, you can change, you can play with it, all right? You can change the permission of a particular file with this, but this is the table which you need to keep in mind, that what digit specifies what particular permissions to a file. So what I'll do, I'll just give abc.txt all those permissions. That is, if I do 777, then 770. So Kali can do everything with the file, but any user other than Kali cannot do anything with the file. So now if I do cat, I can see the results. Even if I do nano, I can even write it. See, now if I add tech series, all right, I have made changes. I have edited the file. And now if I do cat, I can see that all those changes which I had made are getting reflected into my terminal. This was all about chmod. Now we have a poll for you all. Until we are getting the poll, you all can try it out. And if you have any query, you can put it in the chat box.
Okay, so the next poll is, what does chmod 641 signifies? You have 90 seconds to answer this question. You just learned what chmod does and what are the significance of each number. I hope everyone can answer it correctly. Have 60 seconds more. Forty seconds. Quickly put up your answers. Okay, so we are here with the results. 61% of you guys think that the option should be the second one. Let's see what is the correct one. Okay, it's great. It's good to see that everyone understood this command thoroughly, because this is a very important command. Let's move on. Okay, so We have few more basic commands, and these four are some important commands. So first one is who am I? Who am I is a command that states your current user. You simply have to write who am I and hit enter. So it is showing that our current user is Kali. Next is pwd, that is print working directory. It is a command that states your current location. So our current location here is home, Kali, and desktop. Now there comes a situation where we need to keep track of all our commands. You need to visit all the commands and that you have exited on the terminal. For that, you can simply write history and hit enter. The console will give you all the commands that you have used till now. So as you can see, Nakshatra has used some 1893 commands till now. That's great, Nakshatra. So last is user add. This command is used to add a new user to your system. So we'll write user add -r and the name of the user. So suppose we are writing offensive and we'll hit enter. Now this permission has been denied here. So if we write sudo and user add, then the same command -r offensive, hit enter. It will ask as a password.
Now we all can see that it hasn't thrown any error. All right, so it means that there is a new user that is offensive, which is being created. Now, just to show whether the user has been actually executed or not, what I'll do is there's a file in Kali Linux under the location etc and shadow, which contains all the details of all the users and even their passwords. So if I hit enter, I can see that last one offensive. So the user offensive we just created is successfully created into our Linux machine. All right. So this was all. Yeah.
This was all about Kali's terminal, and we have covered the most important and mostly used Linux commands. Now let's quickly get switch.
So this was all about the terminal. Now we are moving ahead with John the Ripper. So what is John the Ripper? John the Ripper is one of the most well-known and versatile hash cracking tool out there. It combines a fast cracking speed with an extraordinary range of compatible hash types. Before moving on to John, there are some basic terminologies which I would like you to know, starting up with brute force. So brute force is, in simple word, if I had to explain, it's attacking a website or a login panel by trying various combinations of the username and the password. Over here, you don't know the username or the password. What you are trying to do is you're just trying to enter some commonly used, like if you have some idea that this login panel could be admin password, password admin. So these various combinations, and you are trying to get into the terminal, you can do this, that is the brute force attack. Second, that is a plain text. So what is a plain text? Data which we have before encrypting it or hashing it is the plain text. So all these terminologies, that is brute force and plain text, currently they are in its plain text form only. Further, we have cipher text. So cipher text, the data which we get after encrypting and hashing is known as a cipher text. Moving on, we have hashing. Now hash is an output of a hash function. Hashing means to produce the hash value of a plain text. If I had to create a hash value of the plain text, that is brute force, what I'll use hashing. I'll be explaining later that how do we do it, how to use it. Lastly, we have a term called encoding. Now, this is not a form of encryption. It is just a form of data representation, just like base 64, hexadecimal, etc.
So next up, we have these online tools. The first one is PE lock. Let me just quickly switch to this site, and here it is. What PE lock does is, if we give a plain text, and it will calculate the hash value for us. So if I write ROCU here and click on calculate string hashes, so it will give me these hashing algorithms, and parallel to it are its values. That is the hashing values of these algorithms. So the important hashing algorithms to remember is MD5, SHA-256, SHA 512, that is here, and Whirlpool. So these are some important hashes that one needs to remember. Next tool is Tunnels Up. Let's see what it does. Now, if we are given a hash value and we don't know what is the hashing algorithm for it, so we can simply put up the hashing algorithm in this tool, and we can just put a quick click on analyze and we'll get our value. So if we copy this hash value from here and paste it here in this Tunnels Up tool, click on analyze, it will give me the hashing algorithm. So here we knew that this algorithm is MD5, but you'll get situation where you will not be aware of what is the hashing algorithm. And once you get the hashing algorithm, you can crack this using John the Ripper. With that said, let's just dive into John and learn how to crack a password using John. Okay.
All right, we are back to the terminal. So in order to use John, we'll be working on the terminal. So I'll just redirect to my desktop folder. So I'll be cracking a file under the name of hash1.txt. You all must have received that file into the chat box. So I would request you all to download it. So I'll start. In order to initiate John, we need to type John, and then you need to provide it a particular format. Now for this, what I'll do is I have this file hash1.txt. I'll copy this hash because I don't know what is the hashing type or hashing algorithm because of which this hash is being created. So in order to know what is the hash type, I'll copy this hash. I'll go to my terminal. I have a pre-installed tool in Kali that is hash identifier, and I'll hit enter. Once I do that, hash identifier is loaded, that is a tool, and I'll paste that particular hash which I just copied and hit enter. If I scroll up, I can see that the tool has returned the hash type that is MD5. Previously, I wasn't knowing that what is the hash type. So with the use of this tool, now I know that this hash is MD5. Now let's crack it using John the Ripper. I have opened a new window of terminal. So I'll go to my desktop. To initiate the tool, I'll write John. This is the term which will initiate the tool. Then, as I said, I need to provide it a format. Since I know that the hash is MD5, so I'll write -- format equals to raw MD5. Now I have specified the format. I'll be providing a word list, that is rocu.txt. Now for me, I already have this file with me. For you all, uh, you must have you will be receiving 3 commands into the chat box. I would like you all to run it. Why? Because like if I say cd usr share word lists, this is the first command which you need to run. And if you hit enter and do ls, you can see that all the word lists which are pre-installed in Kali are present in this location. Now I am referring to rocky.txt. For me, it is like this, rocky.txt. But if you all would go to this location, that is cd usr share word list, you all must be seeing rocky as a zip file. All right. So in order to unzip it, you need to type sudo unzip. Then the name of the file which you must be seeing in your operating system would be like this. That is in the GZ format. As I can see, you all have received all those commands. So would request you all to kindly run this, as it would be useful for cracking all the hashes. Now, once you do run this command, your rocky.txt would unzip. Like the extension which we can see that gz, it won't be there. You will be seeing rocky.txt. Now, this particular file is present into USR, share, and word list. Now, I cannot redirect to this directory, and every time I have to crack a hash, I have to be present in this directory. So in order to make my work easier, what I'll do is I'll move this txt file onto my desktop. As I've already explained, I'll type mv, that is move, the name of the file, that is rocky.txt, and then I'll provide the location, that is desktop, because it is the most easy location which we have access to, that is the desktop. So you can move it to this location, but you have to use sudo before it, because you are not a privileged user, you are into Kali. In order to execute, you have to run this command. And once you do that, you'll similarly have this rocky.txt on the desktop, just like me. Now I'll return to my desktop folder. You all must be having this rocky.txt into your desktop folder by running those 3 commands which you also received in the chat box and the ones which I just explained. So now we'll get going with cracking the hash. So I'll type John, I'll give it the format equals to raw md5. I'll provide the word list, that is rocky.txt, which contain 40 million passwords, and then the file name. All right, now if you do that, if you hit enter, you can see that within a fraction of seconds, it has given me the output, that is biscuit. That is the 4th line. So I had a hash which was MD5. I use this tool. I'm getting the plain text value of the same hash. Further, I have another file, that is hash2.txt. You must have received this file in the chat box. So you will open it. You will copy the hash. You will go back to the terminal. And again, you don't know the hash type. So you will paste it into hash identifier and hit enter. Now you can see that this hash is SHA1. So now we know the hash type. We'll return to our desktop and we'll crack it using John. I'll provide it the format, that is raw SHA1. I'll provide it the word list. I'll provide it with the word list, that is rocky, and then the file name, because the file name is hash2.txt and I want to crack this file. So I'll enter that and I can see again, it is giving me a result, that is kangaroo. So this hash, that is SHA1, consists of a plain text, that is kangaroo. So we just cracked it using John the Ripper. To make you more familiar with John, I have another file for you, that is hash3.txt. You must have received the file in the chat box. You will open it, like we'll copy it first. Copy. You will paste the hash into hash identifier, hit enter. So this algorithm is SHA-256. Since we know the hash type, we'll again go back to our desktop folder. We'll initiate the tool John. We'll provide it the format that is raw SHA-256 this time. And I'll provide it with the word list rocky.txt. And now the name of the file is hash3.txt. So I'll specify that and I'll hit enter. I get the plain text value that is microphone. So these all files I had with me beforehand. Now I'll be giving you a live demonstration about the complete process. As Sejal had explained you about PE lock. So what I'll do is I'll go to that website that is PE lock. I'll wait for it to get load. And I'll type, let's say I want to type dangerous. There's a string, I'm typing dangerous and I'm calculating string hash values. Now, since I have already showed you that how to crack MD5, SHA1, SHA-256 using John, let's try some other hash type. Let's say I want to pick up Whirlpool. This is a hash type. So I'll copy this and I'll go to my terminal. This time, I don't need to run hash identifier because I already know that the hash which I have is Whirlpool. Now, before cracking it, I need to save it into a text file. So I'll create a new text file by using Nano, and I'll mention the name that is Whirlpool underscore hash.txt and hit enter. I'll paste the same hash which I just copied from PE lock. I'll do Control X and save this file. Now I have this hash into my operating system. Now I'll just crack it with using John. I'll provide it with the format that is Whirlpool. The format is Whirlpool. I'll be using the word list document. And then the name of the file that is Whirlpool underscore hash. And simply I'll hit enter. Now you can see that the hash which I just created was dangerous. See, we just created this hash and the plain text value was dangerous. So we used this, we used John and we cracked and obtained the plain text value again. Further, let's, as I showed you earlier that I have, I'll do sudo cat and etc shadow. I'll enter my password. I can see that I have Kali, Nakshatra, Lucifer, Sejal, QWERTY, and Offensive. These are all the users which are present into my operating system. Now let's say I have a user, Nakshatra. I want to crack the password for the same. What will I do? I'll copy it, complete hash. I'll copy by right-clicking on it, click on copy selection, create a text file that by Nano, and let's name it as Nakshatra underscore hash.txt. And I'll paste that thing by clicking on paste clipboard. Now I have this hash with me. I'll save it and I'll crack it using John. Now Kali Linux, now I don't know the format of this particular hash. So Kali Linux stores all the password with a hash type called crypt. Okay, I'll provide it with the word list again, and the name of the file is Nakshatra underscore hash.txt and hit enter. So there is a user Nakshatra, and the password of that particular user is 12345678. And parallel to that, I can see that Nakshatra. So this password is for Nakshatra. Let's say I want to crack the password for Sejal as well. So I'll copy this hash. I'll create a file, nano sejal.txt. I'll paste this particular string into that file, and I'll crack it using John the Ripper. As I already explained, that Linux stores its password with the crypt hash type, and I'll provide it with the word list and sejal.txt. Let's see whether it can crack or not. Let's wait. It seems that Sejal has used a great password. It's taking a lot of time for John to crack it. Still, let's wait. By the time John is cracking the password for the user Sejal, let's move on to, I'll keep this running. Oh, we have the password with us. So the password which she has used is delicious. So we were able to crack it using John. So even if you have multiple users into your operating system, you can crack it using this way. Further, we have a tool called zip2john. This tool is used for, let's say you have a zip file with you and it is password protected and you want to crack it. So in order to crack it, you have to run zip2john, that is zip numeric 2 and then John and then the name of the file. You must have received a zip file into your chat box, and the name of that file is secure.zip. Secure.zip, and then the greater than sign, that was for output redirection. And then what will it do is, there is a hash inside the zip folder. It will redirect that hash into a particular text file. Let's say I want to name it as hash zip john.txt. You can name it whatever you want. I am naming it as hash underscore zip john.txt and hit enter. Now that particular hash has been extracted from the zip file and it is now present into the txt file. Same way, now I have the hash with me. I'll crack it using John. Now, in order to crack the zip file, you don't need to provide any format. John will automatically analyze the hash type and it will crack the password for you. But you need to provide the word list, that is profi.txt, and then the name of the file. So for me, it is hash zip john.txt. So I'll hit enter. So I can see that that folder, which was secure.zip, has the password pass123. Let's verify. All right. I'll just minimize this. So you can see that I have this secure.zip on my desktop. I'll click on that. See, this zip file is password protected. So I'll type the password, that is pass123, and hit enter. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, this is the file. See, the name is flag.txt, right? So it was already opened in my desktop. So this is the flag. All right. I'll close all these because I clicked multiple times. So this is the flag.txt. So we were able to crack that zip file without knowing the password. So this was all about John the Ripper. We have a poll for you all. Before the poll, I would like to cover another thing, that is crackstation.net. So you must have received this link into the chat box. Would request you all to open it, and then I'll explain what it does. So as we saw that John the Ripper is used to crack hashes, we have another online tool for the same work, that is crackstation.net. If you have a hash with you and you don't want to crack it using John the Ripper, let's say you are not comfortable with it or you don't want to crack it using John, so you can crack it using this tool. So we'll go on to PE-lock. Let's copy MD5 hash from here. You have received this hash. You simply have to paste it over here. Click on I am not a robot and click on crack hashes. Just like John, it has cracked the plain text value that was ROQ. How Crackstation does it? You can see if you scroll down that they have 190 GB of database which contains 15 billion entry lookup table. They have another database which is of size 19 GB and it contains 1.5 billion entry lookup table. How does Crackstation is able to crack this password within a fraction of a second? Users like you and me comes to this site and enter their hash into this. Now Crackstation has hashes of all the strings, all the commonly known strings, that is ROQ or any other strings. It stores all the hashes into their database. So whenever a user comes in, it inputs a hash. So this particular hash is being compared with the hash with their database. If both of these hashes matches, that is the one which you had input and the hash which they have in their database, if both of them match, you get the result. That is ROQ. This is how Crackstation is able to crack all your password within fraction of seconds, because it has all the hashes stored into their database already. We have a poll for you all. You can simply go to slido.com. You can enter the code and answer this question. You have 30 seconds for the same. And the question is, which tool do we use to crack password of a zip file? You have 15 seconds left. Please answer fast.
So most of you have opted for the first option. Let's see. This is the correct answer. That's great that we have understood all the commands. With this, we have a winner. So Shubham Kumar is the one who answered all the answers correctly. Congratulations, Shubham. Let's move on.
Further, we have a task for you all. You must have received a file in the chat box with the name crackthehash.txt. What you need to do is, you need to firstly identify the hash. You need to crack it using John. I would request you all to kindly crack it using John, not with crackstation.net. And you need to enter the plain text value into the chat box once you are done. You have 5 minutes for the same.
Okay, so Nakshatra, by the time you guys are doing this task, let's answer some of the questions that we have in the chat box, would say.
Yes, Sejal, we can definitely do that.
Okay, so let's see what questions we have. Okay, so the first question that we have is from Dhruv Jore, and he asks, we have often heard about black, gray, and white hat hackers. What exactly does these hackers do? So, Nakshatra, would you like to answer this question, or should I?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, so true, black hat hackers are people who have good knowledge of breaching network security. They simply break into a secure network to modify, steal, or destroy data so that the network cannot be used by authorized network users. And white, coming to gray gray hat. Gray hat hackers are computer hacker who sometimes violate ethical standards, but they do not have the malicious intent. And third, you asked is gray hat. So no, I've already answered gray hat. White hat. Yeah. So white hat hackers are, or we can say security specialists, are specialized in penetration testing. They protect the information system of an organization. So this was brief information about black, gray, and white hat hackers. So
All right,
another question.
I can see.
Yeah.
I'll be taking up this question. Aishwarya has asked that what was the command to see all the users? So Aishwarya, I just explained that there was a command called sudo cat /etc, and inside the shadow folder you can see all the users which are present into your operating system. So you can note down this command, and with this command you can see all the users which are present in the operating system.
Okay, so I have this question from Mohit. He says that you mentioned about CyberMap websites and others. Can you tell how these website tracks real-time cyber attacks? So,
Are you going ahead?
no, you can carry on. I'm just looking at some of these. Should I send you this question again?
Yeah.
Okay, since
All right. Yeah.
yes,
You
yes,
can
continue, please. No, I'm
I'll-
just saying that
I'll-
you
I'll
answered
just,
this question.
I'll message the answer to Mohit directly. By the time you can answer some of the questions as well. I'll
Yeah, I
just
was
type the
about to
answer.
say the same, that there are many questions. So,
I'm answering them.
by the way, we are getting some plain text answers from here.
Yeah, but the time is still left, so I would like everybody to crack the hash and let us know the answer.
Okay, so we have another question that is from Ashi. Okay, so Ashi asks that you mentioned penetration testing in one of my previous answer. What do I mean by it? So to answer this, Ashi, penetration testing is the process of checking exploitable vulnerabilities on the target. Um, in security, it is used to augment the web application firewall firewall. I'm sorry. So that was penetration testing, maybe. Okay, so Nakshatra, should we disclose what was our plain text? Because we
Yes,
have, I guess we have received sufficient answers.
sure. We can go ahead with that.
Karthik Soni says that you don't have the file. I've just sent it in the chat box. Karthik, the file is in the chat box. I'll just send it again if you want.
It's great to see that many of you were able to crack the hash and obtain the plain text that is mushroom. So that particular hash, so the hash type was NTLM. NTLM is the hash type in Windows. Whatever password you store, so Windows stores it under the hash type NTLM. So that is correct. The plain text is mushroom. Congratulations, those who were able to crack the hash, and those who couldn't crack the hash, you can crack it later. Further, if you have any questions, you can let us know. So you all just learned how to crack passwords using John the Ripper. Further, we have more tools like Hydra, Medusa, and Hashcat, which are similar to John. With this, we come to end of this session. Before ending the session, let's have a quick recap. We started learning about cybersecurity. We learned about what is a cyber attack, what is a data breach. We learned about Yahoo data breach, Domino's data breach, and we even looked into Have I Been Pawned and VirusTotal. So we have a learning for you all, that is, passwords are like clothes. You have to make them personal, make them exotic, and change them on a regular basis. The most important thing here is you need to change your password on regular basis. If you keep your passwords and they are very weak, and also for all the social media accounts, I would suggest that you should keep different passwords for all your accounts, and you should change them on regular basis. Further, we studied about what is Kali and what all features do we have in Kali. So it's written that why do astronauts use Linux? Because you can't open Windows in space.
Unintended.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Further, we interacted with the terminal where we got to study a lot of commands. If I had to mention ls, cd, grep. So some of the important commands which I would like you to learn more about them, that is grep, find, chmod, nano, and much more. So the learning here is, that is me, will you be my Valentine? Girl, no way. Me, pseudo, will you be my Valentine? The girl will be like, yes, yes, let's go. So the learning is, if you are a less privileged user and you want to run the commands of higher privileges, always use sudo. Don't forget to use sudo. Lastly, we covered John, and I have a message for John, that is, admit it, once in your life, you have tried to guess someone's password, but my friend John, you failed.
Okay. Hope you had a great experience. And if you have any queries, doubts, you can reach out to us at our email IDs that are displayed on the screen. Also, we are sharing our LinkedIn IDs in the chat box. You can connect with us. We hope to meet you all in our future webinars. Until then, happy learning. Have a great day. This is me, Sejal Gupta.
And I, Nakshatra Kaushik,
signing off for the day. Thank you so much. Over to you, Anika.
Thank you so much, Sejal and Nakshatra. That was a wonderful session. Hope you all enjoyed learning about cybersecurity. There will be another webinar on fundamentals of data analysis using MS Excel by Ms. Apurva Kumar and Ms. Aditi Singhai, students of STME and MIMS Indore, on 18th July 2021. The registration link for the webinar will be shared with you in the chat box. Hoping for your active participation in our future webinars as well. Moving towards the end, I would like to thank our director, Dr. Prachi Gharpure, for providing us with the opportunity, Associate Dean, STME, and convener of this webinar, Dr. Akhil Banglowala, faculty team of Sunday Tech series for their constant guidance, and the organizing team for making it possible.